You'll adjust. I always do. That's what my mother-in-law said as she announced she was taking over my house. But when I smiled and pulled out a document, her smirk disappeared real fast. I'm Elise, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around what just happened. 17 years of marriage. 17 years with Adam. And it all came crashing down at what was supposed to be our anniversary party. But let me back up. We live in Miami. Well lived. In a house that I paid for. Not we. Me. My late father left me an inheritance. I was smart with it. Invested carefully. Worked my ass off. And I made damn sure that house was in my name only. Adam contributed a little. Very little. But I never threw it in his face. And then there's Julia. My mother-in-law. The woman who's been a thorn in my side since day one. Julia has this talent. She knows exactly how far to push before things explode. She criticizes everything. My clothes. My cooking. My cleaning. How I parent. But she does it in this way that sounds helpful if you're not really listening. Oh, Elise, I just worry about Adam not getting a home-cooked meal every night. But I understand not everyone is built for the kitchen. Or, your skin looks dry, honey. You do wash your face, right? And my personal favorite. Oh, you got a raise? That's cute. Adam deserves a promotion too, but, corporate world bias and all. I never gave her the reaction she wanted. I'd smile.
Nod. Move on.
And I think that pissed her off even more. Adam? He just watched. That's just how she is, babe.
She doesn't mean it that way.
You know how moms can be. No, actually, I don't.
My mom wasn't like that.
But I put up with it. For years. Then came our anniversary. Adam wanted to throw this massive party for our 17th. I thought it was sweet. He hired caterers. Got a live band. Even rented these fancy lights to make our backyard look like a wedding reception. I didn't question it. We'd had a rough year. I assumed this was his way of making things right. I got dressed up. I was excited. Our friends were there. Family. Even some of my coworkers. Then Adam tapped his glass. Everyone, can I have your attention? I smiled. I thought he was about to say something romantic. I was so wrong. Tonight is special, not just because it's our anniversary, but because we have another reason to celebrate. My mom is moving in with us. Permanently. My stomach dropped. People cheered. Someone shouted, "That's amazing." I couldn't move. And then Julia, standing beside him with champagne in hand, smirked at me. "Oh, and Elise, we'll be making some changes. Starting with your bedroom. It's just better for me. You understand." She winked. Like this was funny. I turned to Adam. Waiting for him to say this was a joke. But he just smiled at me like this was the greatest idea in the world. He knew. He planned this. Behind my back. Everyone's eyes were on me. My friends. My family. Waiting for me to react. To smile. To accept it. But what they didn't know was that I had a surprise too. I took a slow sip of my champagne. Let the bubbles fizz against my tongue. Set the glass down. I could feel my heartbeat in my ears. I looked at Adam. Then at Julia. Neither of them looked nervous. Because in their minds, this was already decided. I forced a smile. "Wow," I said, keeping my voice steady. Julia beamed. "I know. But it just makes sense, sweetheart. You work so much. I can help around the house. Maybe even teach you a thing or two in the kitchen." Some people laughed. Like this was a funny family moment. I could barely hear them over the ringing in my ears. But what Adam didn't know, what neither of them knew, was that I had already made a plan of my own. See, I hadn't trusted Adam in a long time. He'd been acting off for months. Shady. Distant. Every time I walked into a room, he was putting his phone down too fast. Conversations with Julia stopped the second I came near. And then 2 weeks before the party, I had proof. Adam left his laptop open. He never does that. He's weirdly paranoid about it. But that day, he left in a rush for what he claimed was a meeting. More like drinks with his buddies. And he forgot to close it. An email was open. From Adam to Julia. Subject line: Final move-in date confirmed. My stomach dropped. I clicked on it, and there it was. An entire plan, laid out between them. I'll break the news at the party, so she can't freak out in front of everyone. She'll get over it once she sees how much easier it'll be with you living here. I already started moving some of her stuff to the guest room. I'll switch out the master bedroom furniture next weekend. Once she accepts it, we can talk about getting her to put me on the house deed. I read that last line 3 times. My hands were shaking. Julia wasn't just moving in. They were trying to take the house from me. And Adam thought I would just accept it. I closed the laptop, grabbed my purse, and drove straight to my lawyer's office. Back at the party, I looked around the room. Guests were still watching, still waiting for my reaction. I saw Harper, my best friend, wide-eyed, shaking her head slightly, like she wanted me to breathe. I saw my brother, Darius, frowning, taking a step closer like he was ready to intervene. I saw Julia,
Smug.
already acting like she owned the place. I took a breath and smiled. Actually, I said, reaching into my purse, I have an announcement too. The room went quiet. I unfolded the document in my hand, smoothed it out, held it up. This house is sold. Julia blinked. Adam's smile froze. What? His voice cracked. I turned to face him fully. I sold it, I said slowly, clearly. I signed the papers 3 days ago. The deal is done. The new owner takes possession next week. Someone gasped. I heard Harper snort into her drink. Julia's face twitched. You're joking, she said, her voice sharp. I smiled wider. Nope. Then the doorbell rang, and my stomach flipped. This was it, the moment I'd been waiting for. The doorbell rang again. Adam's face twisted in confusion. Julia looked like she'd just swallowed a lemon. The guests fell into dead silence. I tilted my head slightly. Why don't you get that, honey? He didn't move. Julia clutched her champagne glass so tightly I thought the stem might snap.
So I did it myself.
I walked calmly across the room, heels clicking against the floor, and opened the door. There, standing in the doorway, was Donna Carter, the woman who now owned my house. Donna, in her 60s, sharp and well-dressed with silver hair, stepped inside with a polite smile. Elise, it's so good to see you again. I smiled back. Donna, perfect timing. I turned to the room, and just for fun, let the silence drag a little longer. Then I dropped the bomb. Everyone meet Donna. She's the new owner of this house. Dead silence. Adam stumbled back like I'd slapped him. Julia's mouth fell open. Literally. Somewhere in the back, Harper choked on her drink. Donna gave a polite nod. It's lovely to meet you all. Elise and I finalized everything a few days ago. I'll be moving in next week. Adam lost it. You sold the house, he shouted, stepping toward me, eyes wild. Our house? Without telling me? I let out a small laugh. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were making huge, life-changing decisions without talking to each other. His face went red. Elise, this is insane. Where are we supposed to live? I don't know, Adam. Maybe with your mother? Julia sputtered. Her entire body jerked forward. Absolutely not, she shrieked. I am not some charity case. I'm not going to be homeless. Oh, but you were perfectly fine making me homeless, weren't you? I raised an eyebrow. Julia opened and closed her mouth, but no sound came out. The guests whispered to each other, some wide-eyed, some smirking. Donna stepped forward. I don't mean to intrude, but Elise told me she would need time to move her things. However, if you two need extra time to find a new place, I'm happy to let you stay for a reasonable rent. Adam's head snapped toward her. Rent, he repeated, like the word was foreign. Yes, Donna said, still smiling. I plan to live here, but I'm not in a rush. If you and your mother need a few weeks at a fair market rate, I'm open to discussing it. I almost laughed at the way Adam's jaw clenched. He looked at Julia. She looked at him. I could see the gears in his head turning, calculating how much money they had, how long they could last. Then the second twist hit. I turned to Donna and smiled. Oh, about that, I said sweetly. I don't need time to move out. Adam froze. Julia's head snapped back to me so fast, I thought she might break her neck.
What?
Adam's voice dropped. I leaned against the wall, enjoying this. I already have a place lined up. My new condo is ready. My stuff is already packed. Harper, who'd been silently watching, grinned. She knew. She was the only one I'd told. Julia actually grabbed Adam's arm, like she needed physical support. So, what does that mean? Adam's voice was tight. I smiled wider. It means you two have 5 days to figure something out. Or you can start paying Donna rent. Up to you. Donna nodded. Of course, I need a deposit. Julia gasped so hard, she nearly swooned. Adam just stared at me. And for the first time in 17 years, I saw fear in his eyes. The guests shifted uncomfortably, unsure whether to stay and witness the carnage or quietly slip out. Donna, ever the professional, simply pulled out her phone. I can draft the lease agreement now if you'd like. That was the moment Adam snapped. You can't do this to me, Elise, he shouted, stepping toward me. His face was red, veins bulging in his neck. Julia, still gripping his arm, screeched. This is your wife, Adam. She's supposed to support you, not betray you like this. I let out a short, bitter laugh. Betray you? I repeated, staring directly at Julia. You mean like how you two planned to take over my house behind my back? Adam flinched. Julia pursed her lips, her whole body shaking with rage. You're being dramatic, she hissed. That did it. That little phrase. Dramatic. I repeated, my voice rising. You tried to steal my home. Adam, you planted emails. You told your mother you were going to convince me to put you on the deed. You started moving my things out before you even told me. Julia gasped. Adam, you did what?
Oh, she didn't know that part.
Harper let out a low oof. I turned back to Julia, eyes narrowing. Oh, you didn't know? You thought you were just moving in. But Adam had bigger plans. He was going to make sure this house became his too. Then, who knows? Maybe push me out completely. Julia whipped her head toward Adam. Tell her she's lying. Adam's face had gone completely pale. He opened his mouth.
Closed it.
Opened it again. Silence. The moment stretched painfully long as realization dawned on Julia's face. You, she started, shaking her head in disbelief. You weren't just going to let me live here. You were planning to take control of the house. Adam swallowed hard. Mom, You idiot, she screeched. I raised an eyebrow. I'd expected her to defend him. But Julia? Oh no. She turned on him immediately. You told me this was our plan, she hissed. That once I moved in, we would work together to get things in order. Mom, listen. You were going to cut me out too, weren't you? Adam's jaw clenched. His silence was the answer. Julia took a step back, staring at her son like she was seeing him for the first time. You were going to use me, she whispered, just like you used her. I watched it happen, the betrayal hitting her. Her face crumpled. Her breath hitched. Julia, the woman who had spent years making my life hell, had just realized she was disposable too. Adam looked like he wanted to crawl out of his own skin. I took a deep breath, adjusted my dress. Well, now that everything's out in the open, I think we're done here. Julia stared at Adam, then at me. Then she turned, grabbed her purse, and stormed out. Adam stood there, completely frozen. People whispered. Some guests had already left. Darius stepped beside me. You need me to throw him out? I considered it. But then something shifted in Adam's face. I'd expected rage. Or maybe an attempt to weasel his way out. But what I saw was defeat. Pure, unfiltered defeat. Elise, he said. Voice quiet now. Can we just talk? Please. The anger I'd been holding on to wavered. Just slightly.
Talk.
I repeated. He nodded quickly. Just us. No one else. I exhaled slowly, then nodded. We sat on the back patio, away from the remaining guests. The music had been turned off. The night felt eerily quiet. Adam ran a hand through his hair, looking down at the table. I screwed up, he said finally. I waited. I thought. He exhaled. I don't even know what I thought. That you'd let me take advantage of you? I said, voice flat.
He winced. No.
Not exactly. I got comfortable. You always handled everything. You always made things work. And Mom, she kept pushing me, saying I deserved more, that you had everything and I had nothing. And I started believing it. I shook my head. You had a marriage, a partnership. But instead of talking to me, you plotted with your mother. Do you even love me, Adam? His head snapped up. And for the first time that night, I saw genuine pain in his eyes. Of course I do, he said, almost desperately. Elise, I love you. I was selfish. I saw an opportunity and I took it. But I never meant to hurt you. I thought we'd end up in a better place because of it. I let his words settle between us. Then I said the thing I'd known for weeks now. I don't love you anymore. Adam flinched, like I'd punched him. I kept going. Maybe I did once. Maybe if you'd apologized sooner, I would have believed you. But not anymore. And I don't trust you. His eyes filled with something close to panic. Elise. I stood up. I'll have my lawyer contact you. We'll figure out the details. He stayed sitting, staring at his hands. He didn't try to stop me, because deep down, he knew there was nothing left to save. A week later, I watched from my new condo window as Adam and Julia packed up the last of their things. Donna hadn't let them stay. She found new tenants within days. Julia and Adam moved into some tiny apartment, a far cry from the home they'd tried to steal from me. Harper popped a bottle of wine as we sat on my new balcony. To fresh starts, she said, grinning. I clinked my glass against hers. To finally putting myself first, I corrected. And as I took a sip, I realized something. For the first time in years, I felt free.